I'm Trek with 2Ks. All right. Hola, hola, and buenos dias, G&Gs. I don't know if Twitter won't let me be great right now, or if friggin' what's going on with my setup, because I'm over here trying to do a Twitter post about going live, and for some reason it won't let me send this GIF out. Mad annoying. But what I'm gonna do, give me 1 second, and I'm gonna go through the whole intro thing and all of that fun stuff. Ooh, Lord, I did it to myself. I just realized. Ooh, all right. Let's get ready for this. Sorry, I have not been looking at the screen that long, and now that I'm about to be looking like this for a minute, I got to put on the other shades. Believe it or not, these are also shaded too. But anywho, multitasking when you out here trying to, do a show thing. What's the word I'm looking for? Trying to yeah, so I got a couple of things that caught my attention this last couple of days, and so I said, you know what? I'm gonna throw this out here, and yeah, we're gonna go from there. All right. There's some things I definitely have to figure out in Restream that we got going on the back end. Nonetheless, though, thanks for the folks who joining in. I appreciate. Hopefully, all of the details. Well, it is what it is right now. But nonetheless, I'm over here trying to do more than one thingy at a time. Where are you looking? There we go. All right. Let me not yell. Some people be sensitive. Why is that doing that? Love over at damn. I can't even think of the thing right now. Damn. Nope. Bump it. All right. So, hola. I am Trek with 2Ks. This is Weekend Crypto, aka Trek with 2Ks, right? And so I'm working on trying to get better at jumping back into the content and doing the lives. And that's where it's at right now, right? So I've been telling y'all, for those who tapped in, like when I started jumping in with the lives, like was that end of January or like beginning of February, I think. I am struggling to figure out like if I'm changing all of what I'm doing or like some of what I'm doing within this segment. I definitely am changing the broadcasting time because of something that an AI told me called DeepSeek, where it's like, yeah, if you did like evening hours on Monday, you would have more reach in the international audience. So I'm trying to play that game right now versus trying to do the weekends. My weekends be kind of funky, but nonetheless, so basic idea, as you saw in the intro, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a financial advisor, I don't do price talk, and that's just where I'm at with it. And I've been like that for a good hot minute right now, for those warriors who've been following me on here, and even just, before I was doing the actual segment stuff on here, and what I was saying in the comments when it was Monday Morning Lives and all that stuff with how King and them was doing it then. So yeah, as I was saying, it's a couple things that came across my radar, right? So I've been on my little like hedgehog kind of thing where like I stick my head out and look into Twitter, and then I see stuff and I be like, oh, all right, like, Twitter's on its foolery. The internet is what the internet is. And then sometimes things catch my attention to where I'm like, I think this is worth bookmarking. And there's a couple of things that I think have been worth bookmarking, right? So here's one thing that I thought was worth bookmarking. So Eric Voorhees of oh god, I can't remember it wasn't Firefox. Fox Shapeshift. For those who do not know, Eric Voorhees, founder of Shapeshift, one of the early exchanges in the place. And what is going on? All right, let me, because I'm looking over on another monitor and I see the YouTube side, but I don't see any activity on the chat. So I'm like, what's happening? Usually by now somebody would have said what up. But nonetheless, so Eric Voorhees does this. I'm gonna say it's a lengthy Twitter post, like definitely more than the 1,500 characters or something like that you could do. I know they've expanded it a little bit more, but this is a lengthy one. And he basically brings up the thing about how, well, let me read like a couple of lines of it so y'all can get where I'm going with this. I appreciate the folks who gave the thumbs up. Thank you very much. Wait, why is it's not doing it? It's not doing it. All right, I don't know. I don't know if it's the setup, what's exactly going on, but all right, I'm gonna just take it for what it is. So on to this post that Eric Voorhees put out. So it goes on illicit funds in crypto. Background: the entire purpose of crypto is to build neutral, objective, transparent protocols. Permissionless is the phrase, right? The right part is me. Sorry, y'all. Uh, it's a belief that regardless of the ethics of the user, the protocol itself should simply act under the protocol rules. This is also similar to what was the early mantra of Ethereum as far as code is law, by the way. So that honesty, back to reading, that honesty, that integrity provides immense societal value. And upon such a foundation, further layers of coordination and rulemaking can be built. Coinbase is a central exchange. Coinbase as a central exchange can make its own rules about its property and systems built on top of permissionless, neutral Bitcoin and Ethereum protocols. Now we get into question, right? When crypto funds are illicit, what should happen? Should the Bitcoin node block illicit transactions? Should Ethereum nodes block illicit transactions? Should Uniswap contracts block illicit transactions? Should Thorchain nodes block illicit transactions? Should miners and validators be policing content? If the answer to any of this is yes, then we are not designing a ecosystem of permissionless objective protocols, are we? We're designing something else. And I'm gonna cut right here on this. You can definitely, on Twitter find Eric Voorhees stuff and dig into this, because it, like I said, for a Twitter post, and he can definitely do some long Twitter posts, and he ain't even do like where it's like the new Twitter post and it jumps into the next thing. What is going on? Like, I'm not seeing nothing. I don't even know right now, but anywho, so it goes to this point of something that, like, for the folks who've been around this space for a minute and remember when it was about Bitcoin and somewhat moving in with other cryptocurrencies that were going to bring in financial or economic sovereignty. I'm going to say economic sovereignty. Crypto, meaning the original coins in the beginning, were on an early narrative of, hey, what's going on? Threat of the absurd. Hey, what's going on? Threat of the absurd. Sorry. Hey, man, be safe when you're driving. Don't mess around. Don't dual task. Like, pay attention to the road. Not me. Just put me. Listen to me while you driving. Don't mess with no keyboard stuff. Right. So crypto, as far as the original coins, was pushing the narrative of economic sovereignty, right? That idea of you should be able to have a financial instrument that you can have positive control of. But with this positive control, there is no, are you a quote bad guy? Are you a quote good guy? Right? It was, here's this technology that we can use to create, and I'm using this word now, a financial instrument, a monetary instrument that you as the user has the ability to store, hold, spend, exchange, throw away and disregard, lose, and all of that, all on you as part of your sovereignty as an individual, right? And as we moved further along the road, then we got into this thing about how, as Eric points out in this post, who are the bad actors, and then what are the laws or the regulations and the legal stuff that we come up with to say, well, bad actors shouldn't be allowed to participate in the financial industry or in the monetary system. And that's the whole thing of what he's asking in this. It's like, if we know that the legal whims of one regulatory body in another country can differ from another one, how do we then start going, well, you guys have to add these rules in to the technology? Like, which they're literally working to where they're dumbing down the technology and then adding in regulatory policies to pigeonhole it to do things that the original tech wasn't designed to do, right? And Eric says a line in here that I think is very appropriate for the understanding of the technology, where he says, like, mathematics doesn't turn off when a bad man solves an equation. Language doesn't fail to execute when a bad man speaks it. There are permissionless protocols, and so too must be crypto, right? I agree with the sentiment. And the lineup started off with this story, but it's also going to play into some another story that's in this lineup that I have of things that caught my attention. But I don't think that where we are in the society, and not just us as Americans or us as Westerners, I don't think we are in the larger scale. And I've said this for a while. Like, if you follow me or you've been in any conversation that I've been in when it came around this thing about like the ideals of crypto and all of that stuff, most people got in on, like, if they didn't get on the tech, there was the ideals that got them. But then it was at a certain point where, like, we became the minority. The people who cared about the tech, the people who were caring about the ideals, we became the minority. And I want to say that probably happened like maybe 2018-ish, maybe 2017 was a shift, a real shift. No, matter of fact, 2016 arguably is when we started having the shift of like 2015 into 16. But let's say it was 16 into 17 as the hard. is when it started turning into chasing the bag, right? And that, right, brought in the regular everyday person who the idea of like economic sovereignty is a foreign phrase, but we looking at this thing of like, if I can get this money quick, or I can get it to where it scales, and I know that if I exit out into this other financial instrument, I can get a bunch of stuff. This stuff you talking about with economic sovereignty, I don't know what that do about paying bills. I just know I'm out here trying to pay bills and get stuff. Hence, you had the people who was just buying cars, buying all types of jewelry, trying to buy houses, do yachts and boat, and like all of these things, all of these um 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 instruments of display, or displaying wealth, or displaying I got it, right? The chasing the bag. And so the idea that where we are where we are now, with the people who are just like, well, no, crypto is just another financial instrument to be invested in. When people like, you gotta watch or listen to the words that people use on anything, really. But to understand the difference in when they say it's just another financial instrument, and I use that phrase a fair amount of times, because as far as it relates to smart contracts and being able to do um automated contracts of what is this, moving crypto around in the financial world, not necessarily the same thing as the monetary world, right? But that's where we are now. The those idealist folks, that group of folks that we was with, versus the chase the bag folks who are now on the like, oh well, no, it's a financial instrument, and I need investor protections. If you have the mindset, or you have the belief of economic sovereignty, investor protections is not a who can I turn around and sue when something goes wrong. It's not a who can I do a deferred responsibility to if I mess up. That's not economic sovereignty. Economic sovereignty says, no, dog, it's on you to protect what you got. On the financial side, that's not how that works. Financial side says, nah, somebody else has to be held accountable if something goes wrong in the system, because the system is built on you not having accountability, you not having self-agency for your financial instrument. So, and this leads into my next story. And yeah, I'm not saying I'm laughing at the person in the next story, but it's still a kind of, you kind of set yourself up, my guy. And I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But I'm not telling y'all gotta agree with me. If you on Twitter, take a minute or two to, go search Eric's thing. You don't have to do nothing, by the way. Remember, I'm just some guy on the internet. But like, check out what he wrote. And I'm not telling you have to agree with it. And I acknowledge those of us who looked at it for the tech, those of us who looked at it for this particular narrative and ideals, we are 100% the minority right now. And it's only going to get worse as we move forward. And seeing what the space has matured and grown into, or is growing into. What is that? Bitcoin's a teenager, preteen right now, right? Ethereum's not too far behind that. But yet, you still see people talking about Solana as the greatest thing since sliced bread. Okay. I'm gonna leave that one there, right? I'm gonna leave that one there. But again, if you want to check that out, you can definitely check out Voorhees' handle or Twitter account to see the thing. I think how am I gonna say that? It's it's a valid point, but I don't know how relevant it is to this day and age for where things are now and what it seems like we're moving towards. It's a valid point. I'm there with him. Permissionless technology. The technology works. Why are we adding the other subjective stuff onto it? Because that's just human beings being human beings and wanting control. That's my short answer. But anywho, I'm gonna jump over to this next one, right? There is a gentleman. This gentleman's name, he had what is his name? Is it Kevin? Anywho, the handle on Twitter is called Nomad Capitalist. If you don't know, again, I'm not telling anybody to go follow anything or anybody in particular as far as this particular story is going to go into. But Nomad Capitalist, is it Taylor? I can't remember his actual name right now, but I've been following the dude for a minute, bought his book, read some of the stuff, even started the process to get into what he does, which is he basically helps like six-figure plus people go through the process in getting other residencies and citizenships outside of their natural born country, right? Obviously, I am not his target audience, but I have gone through my own journey and research into some of that stuff myself. And it's definitely it's interesting and it's more to it than folks think. And the reason why this one caught my attention was because literally my coworker says, my coworker, he love him to death. Like we served, right? And so he be at times saying stuff where I'm just like, that's not how it works outside in the real world. Bro. Like, so let me give the framing of this. I think he's on TikTok. He sees the video about Trump talking about, oh, we could do the freedom passport where we charge people $5 million to like skip the line and get an American passport. So we get into this whole, me, him, and another coworker get into this whole back and forth. And he's talking about, well, no, if we have this many illegal folks just coming in here to get the American, what is it, American values or like the American citizenship, and they're just doing it without actually paying. And then the other coworker is like, well, I think that if we can get money out of this, then this is a good thing. And I'm like, but do y'all understand that the American citizenship standing in the global world is not where it was 5 years ago? This is not 2000. This is not the 1990s. We're not in the same global standing as we were back then. So people are not viewing the American passport as the super golden ticket as it was back then. And so my one guy is just like, nah, American values. Everybody wants to be an American because we have this great way of life, America. And I'm just like, and by the way, don't think that that is my voice impressions are indicative of what this person's background is. Don't take it that way. Please don't, because it will surprise you, I think. But nonetheless, so now we having this whole back and forth about this, and I'm just like, no, like I can tell you 100% certainty that America is not in the top 5 anymore. 100%, not in the top 5 anymore. And on top of it, a number of other countries have had their applications for passports and visas and residency programs increase over the last 5 years, right? Like double digit numbers for some of these countries. America's not having that run. We're not having that run at all. But they still want to sell the no, America this, America that. I'm like, yeah, I hear you, but like again, we're not in the 1990s and we're not in the 2000s. And as someone who's actually gone through and done the research and knows people who have multiple passports and citizenships and visas and residencies, I can tell you what you're saying is not how it works and not what's going on right now in the real world outside of, this American echo chamber. Where does this go in relation to nomad capitalists? Let me make this connection. So again, like I said, Nomad works with six-figure people and he helps them get these additional residencies or citizenships. So El Salvador, as we know, is Bukele's home territory. He's the presidente guy. I don't remember if he nonetheless, Bukele's over there in charge of El Salvador, and basically he just came up with pushing a whole thing about a special, well, not special, like it's going to be a whole separate passport, but the basic idea is, hey, if you want a passport that costs 5,000. And if you have these kind of skills, like if you got a degree in engineering, if you have a degree in any of the like professional sciences or professional work things, if you also connected to crypto, like, hey, come check us out. And for some of the things I've been paying attention to, there are folks who are saying, for what it looks like is going on with El Salvador, and granted, people will be argumentative and disagree with the methods and tactics that he has used to really do a 180 in their societal and economic change. It's happening. And I've heard it being compared to like El Salvador in another 20, 30 years is on its trajectory to be a Hong Kong, to be a Singapore. And if you ain't never been to none of those places, or you don't know how their societal change happened or what they were looking like in the 90s or in the 80s or in the 70s, and how like their economic prosperity, is that the right word, has so. But then what's going on? What's going on? Green eggs and lamb. Oh, I'm dying with the name. I love it. I'm gonna get to yeah. So the point being, is El Salvador is making those moves, and Bukele's the one right now, like setting things up. Not saying it's gonna be a perfect run. I'm not saying that at all. I don't know the future, right? But for the people I'm paying attention to, the things I'm having on my radar, and the folks who are in the international realm, again, who were traveling around in Asia and Latin America back in the 2000s, back in the 90s, back in the 80s, the 70s, they can tell you from firsthand, like, hey, we remember what this place looked like back then, and the transformation is mind-boggling. It's amazing to see on the societal development side, on the education factor, on the financial side, the monetary, like it's multiple areas of growth and change and reformation. And so here you have it that now, and just again, I just happened to poke my head in on Twitter, aka X, and I seen this post by Nomad Capitalist, and I said, "Oh, ain't that something?" And here you got Trump over here talking about, well, we'll charge $5 million in order for you to come to the U.S. And put this in perspective, y'all. I need you to think about this. Oh, it wasn't 5,000 for the passports. I was wrong for that, but it was offering 5,000 passports specifically for certain professionals. I don't know what the number is going to be, but it's also. But let me get to the Trump point. One of the things I argued about with the Trump situation was the floor price is too high, and then meaning like the people who are in that economic status who have $5 million to spare to be like, oh, let me go get that American passport because I'm gonna jump right ahead of the line. One, What's going on, TL? What's going on, Legacy Tier Strategies? So one, you have it now that Americans with a single citizenship cannot go to some countries and be like, hey, I want to open a bank account here and like here's $500,000, because as soon as they go, oh, I'm an American, I only got this American citizenship, the bank folks is like, no, 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 no. Like, you might be headaches. Why? Because our foreign policies on and what we've been doing in other countries as far as the the what is it? The I can't remember the word right now. Damn it. But nonetheless, like, you have Americans trying to go to other countries and saying, I want to do things to work towards either a residency or a citizenship. And one of those things that you could do is you could either buy property, start a business, put like $250,000 to $500,000, if not more, in a bank account. And you got to let it sit there for a minute. But the issue is, once the bank folks find out you're just a flat out American and you don't have some other kind of citizenship to be like, well, I'll use this citizenship to open up the bank account, you kind of run into headaches. Because why? They don't want to deal with American citizens like that, because then it comes with too many strings attached to the American government. And that's a real thing, right? But if you aren't in the if that's not on your radar to try to figure out how to get another citizenship, you don't do the research, you don't watch the interviews, you don't read the articles, you don't ask the questions in like what's actually going on in the space. And so here you have Trump going, this is what we want to do. We want to charge people $5 million. So you're telling me I'm gonna pay $5 million, I'm gonna jump to the head of the line. If I already had my, let's say I got like $100 million that I made in whatever other country. Now I got the American citizenship. And then you're gonna be like, yo, we about to tax the hell out of you. And then you go, you know what? I'm gonna just give up the American citizenship. Oh nah, dog. Well, I mean, you know what? You could do that, but there's an exit tax. If you give up your American citizenship, there is an exit tax on that. So in my mind, why would someone who had multi-million dollars, multiple of millions of dollars, or if they in the billionaire category, go, let me be a citizen of the country that is right now having to deal with the shifting geopolitical landscape, where they may not be in the same position 5 years from now, 10 years from now. If I'm in my 40s and I'm looking at living, what up, nerd up? I'm looking at like another 20 years, right? Let's say 20 years, 30 years. I make it up into my 70s, my 80s. I got a dual citizenship of America and like United Emirates, America and Germany, America and like Vietnam. I'm a multimillionaire over here. I'm gonna now get the citizenship, and there's been no mention of taxes, y'all. And then here's the other part that really got me, that threw my head off, because I was running down this rabbit hole on the thought process of the like an individual just buying one of these citizenships, and then they're trying to sell it to the American public. Like, well, if we get like at least 200 something thousand of these people to buy the citizenship, it's going to be this much amount of money. I'm calling BS. Stop the cap. I'll take off the cap just to be like, stop the cap. Because at the end of the day, if the point is to be like, we'll raise the money over here in order to pay back our debt, but we're not going to stop spending funny, then what are we really doing? So here you have it that, what was it? I think it was today, or it might have been yesterday. I actually seen the clip of them talking about it. It was on Trump, um, Vaughn, VD Vance, whatever is the vice president, and I forget who the third person was. And what they actually said initially was this was about curbing the brain drain that we're experiencing, and that they pushed it as a, well, if we can get the corporate folks to spend the 5 million to bring the talent from other countries here to the US. So it was a corporate thing, which then means, so Doge is another funny animal. Doge is another funny animal. Um I I feel like Doge Doge is a double standard, and I'm gonna touch on that in a minute. Let me finish this thing, just start a point, whatever. Um so here you have it, that it's initially them trying to find a way to get foreign workers to get hired by American companies, and they would pay 5 million, and the citizenship would be used as the incentive of, hey, if you come to the US, you'll get this citizenship, and like you'll get this quote great job, because obviously it's not going to be like you working at Walmart as a cashier and Walmart is going to pay for your citizenship. No, this is like you're a high-end computer science person, you're a high-end programmer, you're somebody who's going to be like financial advisor, like you're a guru on the spreadsheet or something. Like this is not um blue collar level work, if that makes sense. But again, what company, what person is going to come to the US? Like, if you weren't already a multimillionaire wherever you're from, you should have already looked at how many other options that were way cheaper and that arguably had better financial and legal incentives for you to take citizenship there versus taking citizenship here. And again, America is not in the top 5 slot anymore. And other countries are seeing their applications for residency and citizenships increase. America is not. So it doesn't make sense. And it seems like, a smoke and mirrors kind of thing to me. But back to this thing with Nomad Capitalist, like I said, he basically breaks down the whole thing of what Bukele's doing down in El Salvador, and they're really pushing this thing about Bitcoin, and in my mind they're eventually going to have to expand in other cryptos, probably the stablecoin stuff, but they're pushing it for being a Bitcoin friendly policy place, no capital gain tax on Bitcoin recognizes legal tender, blah 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 blah. Again, I think that, at least for how I'm understanding it, Bukele is definitely trying to set El Salvador up to be like the Latin American Hong Kong, the Latin American Singapore. That doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. This is more than 10 years down the road, because it definitely took Singapore and Hong Kong a good while to be what it is now. It didn't happen overnight. For those folks who are looking at these other places, even just to like even do a residency, like take the time to explore, take the time to do the research, do your due diligence. I can't stress how much of a do your due diligence like there is to this. You know what? Let me start looking at these comments, because now everybody coming in and I don't know what happened before. And why can't I? Okay, there we go. I was looking at the wrong thing before. Okay, so let me start trying to read through. Hey, what's going on, Stan? What's going on, Legacy Tier Strategies? TL Nerd Up, what up? Chef Money, Chef Money, and what? Frank? No, sorry, Fred Command and Chief Money. All right, so As far as the Doge thing is concerned, personally, I think Doge is a mixed bag. I think there is a level of let's get people angry and let's get people pointing the finger, right? You. Um, and it has people so what up, Kryptonite? Yeah, man. Trying to get in these lives, and I think, well, based on what DeepSeek said, Monday might work out for me better in doing these lives. Monday night. Monday night. So yeah. But so yeah, the tax advantages and arbitrage. Yeah, but like the area of Puerto Rico that those folks are in, the cost of living skyrocketed. Skyrocketed. It's the same thing down in El Salvador. The area where all of the crypto people are skyrocketed in comparison, and I'm talking skyrocketed in regards to like cost of living. In comparison, like cost of living, real estate, things like that skyrocketed. So now there is a definite displacement between the locals and the crypto folks who came to the island or the country, right? But that's a whole nother thing. Ask your cousin about that. Ask your cousin about that. What does it look like outside of the crypto areas? I forgot what the name of the place is in Puerto Rico. I know one or two people down that way, but ask them what it looked like outside of those neighborhoods, those like little I don't want to say damn, I had a word and it totally slipped me, but yeah. Um it's not what folks think. I say that much. But back to this thing about Doge, like um this is gonna be a side tangent. This is gonna be a side tangent. I don't know how this is gonna work out. Yeah, Mexico too. Hey, shout outs to Simon's and family folks. I gotta reach out to Aaron again, and hopefully this email makes it through. Um, yeah, Tether. Yep, Tether's moving through. Yo, Tether is ending up in places now that I didn't see a year or two ago. Um, and love it or hate it in regards to stable coins, like there is a use case for X number of people in the larger crypto community. And so, um, yeah, like it is what it is. Like Tether's making its rounds in Hong Kong too. Like people found a use case for it out there too. I mean, what, a year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was definitely anti stablecoin, and but it was one of those. It wasn't in my wheelhouse. It wasn't in my use case of needs. My need of use case, whatever. But you get the point. I wasn't trading. I wasn't jumping in and out of exchanges. You know what I'm saying? So, and I wasn't doing other types of things that would require me to have a stable coin. And then the folks who found or were part of those communities that were traders or doing other things that they needed that transportation, that movement of the stable coin, like it works out for them, right? I wasn't that guy. But nonetheless, like on this Doge thing, I think it's a mixed bag. And I think it's also being used to work the American public up because here's the funny thing about people and as quote the American, I'm saying this because I see it all the time. And it highly annoys me when I see it with military folks because it's just like if you deployed, you should have some better semblance of understanding. But even within the military, it is definitely a echo chamber. It is definitely a bubble. And in regards to this Doge thing, and I think I had said it like an episode or two ago, one of the lives, like I was kind of dumbfounded because if you look at the national debt clock, there's a section on there for how much Doge says that it has saved the American taxpayer or the American public. And I'm just like, how? Like how did you take the money back from the department like when you closed it, or did you like what did you do exactly? Like what account is the money that for whatever department, agency, section, like whatever it was you said you closed, where's that money at? Where is it? Like, is it sitting somewhere in a in like a not a slush fund, but like, is it in the other, what's the thing called? Like, are you pooling it into some, here's the money that we saved, like here's the saving account for all the money that we got from the bad spending. And then on top of it, now like we on this thing about like we want there, it's gonna be rough, y'all. It's gonna be rough. And it's gonna be rough because in my mind, Doge is being used to work the public up and getting them to start turning on one another. At the end of the day, if you started like for the thing for the things that we are learning about, that Doge is saying, well, we found out that this department or agency was spending money on something that wasn't related to the interest of the American public. All right, I got you. We found out that certain things that the USAID was doing, depending on who you were paying attention to, who was doing the real research on USAID, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag of, oh, y'all was doing good stuff. Y'all were feeding people in these countries and blah, 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 blah. And then there's the like, oh, they were funding money to create color revolutions and overthrow duly elected governments. Like, it's a mixed bag. And what gets me with what's going on with Doge right now, and I'm gonna get off my high horse after this and get to this other crypto stuff, is it's a distraction in that it's getting people to point fingers and work them up and like then be so mistrusting. And don't get me wrong, like I'm not gonna say I'm the worst mistrusting person. Even I got questions, even I have hesitancies, but I also admit, like I get, like, if y'all know, like if you know me, you know what's up as far as the whole gang side of things. Like, I know what it is, and I don't fool myself or try to lie about, yo, listen, that 5,000 thing, total bull. Listen, if they give out 5,000 for all of the tax paying people, do you know how bad that's going to hurt us on the back end? And I think it's actually like, quote, up to 5,000. It's not guaranteed that everyone will get 5,000. That's going to hurt so bad on the back end. Just like how the Trump bucks and the Uncle Biden money was, and then it caught us on the back end because then they started talking about taxes and all other types of stuff, and then the way that the inflation came through off of just hitting the enter button, hitting the enter button, and pushing money into the system so that you can have money velocity of people spending. And people spent, don't get me wrong, right? People bought stocks, people bought plane tickets, people was buying new cars. The amount of new cars I seen on the road during COVID, once folks was able to drive again, the amount of new cars that was on the road during COVID. Like, how many people could afford the maintenance on those cars? Not all of them. How many people could afford the gas for some of those cars, especially those high performance cars? Not all of them. How many people could deal with the insurance on those cars? Not all of them. Like, have you looked at the car market and what it was? Another side note, I was looking for a Subaru Forester for probably the last like year and change. And when I tell you in 23, Facebook Market, Car Trader, I forgot the site. I was seeing 5-speed Subaru Foresters, PA, West Virginia, Virginia, North Carolina, New York. Made it through 2024. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, you can't find a 5-speed manual Forester or Outback. Most folks now don't drive stick shift. What happened? And then the prices on some of it just got ridiculous. Have y'all looked at the vehicle market for like 1990s and early 2000s, like before 2010 pickup trucks? The price is crazy for a 1990 Ford F-150, a F-150 1990 or 1995, 1999 F-150 is crazy right now. But yet, people are going to get excited because they can get up to $5,000 without thinking of what happens when you give a couple 100,000, maybe a couple million people $5,000, and how does the market price, the market discovery price, adjust to that amount of money just being pushed into the system for money velocity, for people spending? Like, it's wild to me. Like we're so easily distracted. It irks me at times. We're so easily worked up. It irks me at times. Case in point with this Doge thing. For all those situations of where we found that like departments and agencies were spending on things that were not productive or helpful to the at-home American stuff. Who was the head of the department? How did they get to that position? Who was the senator, the congressperson, the local municipality person who okayed those things? Like, give me those folks. Like, how do we work that they don't get the next job to be all like, all right, bet I'm okay spending money on these medical experiments over in blah, blah, blah country? Like, again, we just over here getting worked up, and it's going to be looking ugly for the next 2 years. Ugly, ugly, ugly. All right, jump into the comments again, and I'm gonna get over to this other story. Again, Twitter, sometimes I'll be seeing things that like catch me, and I'm like, oh, interesting. Next story is a Kranken story, by the way. So what is it? Zynga. Yes, I've heard that mentioned by a couple of people that I pay attention to about like they think that there is definitely going to be a reevaluation in the gold stuff. US Treasury be placed on the only blockchain with digital metal. Okay. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about all that. I'm not gonna. Okay. Who I'm paying attention to, none of those folks are pro blockchain crypto people. They're old school precious metal bugs folks. So they ain't trying to hear nothing about the treasury doing what you're talking about. Yeah, they definitely aren't fans of XRP like that neither. Video. Who? Wait, what? Let me read that again. Metal and XRP Proton is about to be thrusted into the spotlight, having everyone is utter shock. This was the scene we discussed in your other video. Beware the ideas of March 315. All right. I don't remember doing that one, but nah, 315. We just got here. All right. I'm missing what that one means exactly. But nonetheless, jumping into this other story, this caught my attention. Yo, funny. Um, yeah, you got me laughing. Was that anything for clicks? I did not. I just stepped away for a good minute and was dealing with just life and other things, man. So this story came out about Kraken, and it basically goes that the SEC was like, all right, we're gonna drop this case that we got against you, Kraken, with like no prejudice and no admission of wrongdoing, da 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 da, right? And so um I read this article. You can go to the Kraken website and you'll find the article there, by the way. Um and in my mind, because there's like, you could tell like who wrote this. It went through the legal team and the PR folks for the way that it's written, where it's like, we're not a, and here's why I say this, because it basically is like, we appreciate that the new administration is going in a different direction than the previous administration about prosecuting cryptocurrency based businesses. And we've always looked to work with regulators, and it's just like, yeah, I don't think Jesse would have let this fly if Jesse was still ahead of this. Like, if Jesse was still running this ship, I don't think this would have been the messaging that he would have looked to let, like, check signed off on. um and the other part of, like, this goes to the thing with the initial Eric Voorhees post about, like, if we're saying that we're looking to build crypto as a permissionless technology that works regardless of the user's intent, this other stuff going on over here of subjective political campaigns encroaching on the capabilities and functionality of the technology, which goes into what sideways is what Kraken is like. We appreciate that the administration has changed, but like, we still looking to, be in good standing with the regulatory folks. And with this, as far as the SEC is concerned, I'm curious, does Reggie get an apology? Does what's the Odyssey? Does Odyssey get an apology? Because the SEC case basically bankrupted Odyssey and made them totally drop what they was gonna do. Does Telegram get an apology? Like, there's a number of individuals and companies that, because of the political motivation of Gary Gensler and the backing that he was getting from the Biden administration, like, ruined lives. Like, people were spending how much time in court, and this was literally off of somebody just making a career checkpoint. All right, like, and for those of you who've been around for a minute, like, I know Reggie, y'all know that. um like him, hate him, whatever, like, I can't even begin to imagine this, like, when some federal person comes telling you, we about to charge your kid with federal time. Say what now? What? Like, and then we're gonna do things to make you look like the bad guy in public and cut you at the kneecap financially, that you can't defend your family and yourself. Like, does Reggie get an apology? Does Reggie get some funds back? What happens to these other people or these other companies that y'all ran into the ground? And again, to this point about them trying to still play the, oh, well, we still want to be in good standing with the regulators and stuff. There's a line in here where they say something about Hester Pierce and her whole that the project thing that she wants to do, which is like the safe harbor kind of thing, or the sandbox or whatever, I'm gonna still say the same thing I've been saying for years when it comes to her. She's not the crypto mom. You cannot go to the warden of a prison and then be like, yo, how about you let us get some more free time? How about you let us get some more space to roam? How about you let us, like, do what we want? That's not how that dynamic works. Like, that's not how that relationship works at all. That's not the intention or design of a regulator at all. But it's still being sold as a, like, oh no, she's gonna look out for it. She's very pro crypto. No, she's still a part of the regulatory system. That's it. I don't know. That's just my thought process. I might be wrong on that. But like I said, y'all can go on the Kraken website. Those of you who've been around for a minute, Kraken was popping back in the day as a exchange. When Jesse was at the helm, Kraken was popping. And then once they got the SEC dog on them, it was like, we need to go in a new direction. Jesse, we need you to step down. We got to try to figure out how to get through, these legal loopholes or these legal situations with the SEC. Because why? The investors are in the background going, yo, I mean, I know, you on that whole ideals and visionary shit, but we want our money investment back. We want our return to keep going, bruh. You need to, like, tone it down. We need to move over. Like, we need to figure out how to get past this SEC situation. If they asking y'all for the books, give them the books, damn it. The investors don't care on the back end. They just want their money. That's my thought process. You don't got to agree with me, though. You don't have to agree with me. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Stan, like, yeah, the deep state, does it despise it though? Does it? Because for what's going on, Kashawn, am I saying that right? I think I am. So if you see me, like, moving my head certain ways, it's because I have new glasses, and my main monitor, for how the screen display thing works versus my other two monitors, and I think these have a polarization on them. So, like, it's horrible to be looking at computer screens, but it's also sucks to have lights in front of your face for a whole time when you're looking at the camera that's that way. So yeah, that's why you see me moving my head certain ways, because I'm trying to read certain comments and, like, try to catch up on things. I appreciate the folks who are tapping in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Zinga, yeah, man, like, I'm not saying I'm disagreeing with all of what you're saying. Some of the things I'm kind of like, maybe okay. Like, is this says that uses XRP networks, it's only Fed now certified blockchain company. Yeah, but, like, Fed now patented blockchain. I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess our like all right, let me throw this one out there for you, right? Zynga, is the Fed now situation huge for what? America, or is it going to be huge outside of America? Like, what makes this such a great thing? Because again, if the geopolitical landscape is shifting and other countries are not, let's say, looking to play in our sandbox long term, because we're going from a what is it, a monopolar, a hegemony setup to a multipolar setup, what does that really mean? Oh, XPR. My bad. You right. My bad, sir. XPR. Listen, I did not just say, like, you see me turning my head certain ways because I'm still trying to work with these damn new glasses, bro. I am blind as a bat. I am blind as a bat. I apologize. Okay, XPR. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what that is. So, yeah. This is not me endorsing anything. If you've been with me for a minute, you know I don't do price talk. Hell, if you really been paying attention, when's the last time you heard me be like, yo, pro Bitcoin? When's the last time you heard me do that? When's the last time you really heard me be like, everyone should go out and get Bitcoin? Like, I don't. You're gonna do what you're gonna do. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what your financial situation is, and I don't want to know what your financial situation is. You're gonna have to figure out what works for your situation. All I know is markets go up and markets go down. It's a cycle. That's all I know about trading stuff. Hopefully, y'all have better luck at it than I did. And that's it. So yeah, as I was saying on this Kraken thing, it it's interesting. Like, yes, it's a win for the space in general, but like I'm more so on the like, okay, so like who gets held accountable? Like, is anybody from the SEC going to be held accountable for this? No. Is anybody going to be um is anybody going to talk about the real motivations behind why there was such a public witch hunt? No. Then like, so is it, it's like all right, just take the win and like go about your business, yo. Like they just shooing you like that. Like, just take the win and move on. If your comment is being censored, sir, I don't know what to tell you, because I'm either not seeing it and I'm not doing anything extra, and I don't have any monitors on here. If somebody's a monitor, I didn't put them on as a monitor. They may already, because they were like a early warrior and did whatever. That could be on that end of it. I don't know, but I'm not censoring your comment. You keep right. Right. Okay, so it's something going on the YouTube side, because I see your comment about the network thing. Um, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see your comment, but again, that's not me. That's something going on the YouTube side. Sorry, not sorry, because might be that at this point, for how you've been pushing that particular um project, that YouTube is seeing it as you trolling or shilling. And oh, other thing to note, um the comments that will end up eventually getting started in these videos, like, again, I don't do price talk. I'm not telling y'all nothing on where y'all need to put your money or what y'all should or shouldn't do, outside of like do your due diligence and like, try to cross reference information. um Yeah, you're gonna see a number. Because I go back like days, sometimes weeks later, and I'll look at the videos to see what's going on with the comments. And yo, the bots and the trolls are hilarious, like how they come in, and then some of the conversations be like really put together. I'm not even gonna lie, some of them be really put together. But do know, I'm not endorsing none of the BS. King ain't endorsing none of the BS. None of the other folks on the network is endorsing the BS. Like, be careful of these scammers out here. Be careful of these bots and things out here. Like, the stuff is really getting sophisticated. All right, so that's all I'm gonna throw on that one. And honestly, at this point, it like, yeah, I don't know, Zinga. You sound like you're just trolling and trying to pump the shill. Anywho, jumping off to this next story and then the last one, and then I'm gone. I've been on here way too long. So I don't know how many of y'all was paying attention to the situation at the White House the other day. Um, what anything for clicks, bruh. I said I do not, like capital do and capital not. I'm not doing price talk. I can't even tell you what the price of Bitcoin is today without looking it up right now. Like, not my forte, not my cup of tea. We got way more smarter, better people at that on this network than me. If you want to catch that, Black Rule, he be doing his thing. King, he does his thing during the daytime. Um, they better at that than me. Hence why I don't do it. I'm not telling you nothing about meme coins, shills, and pump. Like, no. And I made it this far without telling y'all any of that stuff. So yeah. But about this Ukraine situation, story on how Ukraine eyes up to 10% tax on crypto as legalization gains steam. And like, I honestly don't get how much of a real story this is. And I say that because the platform or the news platform is Crypto Slate. I don't know where Crypto Slate is based at, but I know that their target audience is Western and like specifically American. Um, and I've noted that over the years just for like how much I've used them and other crypto news platforms and like comparing um their Western viewpoints and how they talk about things that will take place in Europe or in Asia. And so with this one, um, I'm really kind of just like, so for all the craziness that's going on with Ukraine and the EU and like the meeting that just happened with Macron and what's the UK Prime Minister, and I forgot who the other person was. Like, who has time to have a conversation around crypto tax? And then I read into the article, right? And my takeaway is, and it's basically like the regulators are going, well, we need to figure out how to have it be something that's low. Like, what was the number? They don't want it to be up in the 20s. They want it to be like around 10%, right? What's not being stated in this article is what is the name of the dude? The dude, and you haven't really heard anything from him in the last like year or so. The what's the guy's name? He was the like the chief technology officer, and he was something else. And in the early beginning, when they were using crypto to get money in to Ukraine, and they were like, yeah, we're sending it to the troops, and we're helping the troops get we're helping the troops get better armament and blah 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 blah. And then it was like turning out how the money wasn't going, or the crypto, when it was then being converted into a fiat, wasn't actually making it to the troops like that. And then there was a whole thing about like how like the money folks were leaving and going to Europe, and like they were just balling out in Europe, Paris, France, um, Italy. I didn't really hear much about UK, but there's definitely folks who was balling out in Europe, right? And so that dude, I haven't heard. I don't even know if he's still in the same position right now. But nonetheless, what I think this conversation is really about in this article is when they finally have oh man, they did that. When they finally have Oh, I did not know it does that. Interesting. Sorry, I'm learning something new right now with the overlays. My bad, y'all. So when the settlement between like Russia, Ukraine, and the US finally happens, the regulators are really trying to figure out, how do we make the number work that when the dust settles and the folks who are the money bags who like hightailed it out of here before things started getting crazy, they're going to come back and they're not going to be taxed like crazy on the crypto that they was making when they was outside of the country. Because the idea of, quote, you're going to bring it with you when you come back, which like on the technical side, y'all know that's not how the shit work. That's not how wallets work. But nonetheless, the way the legal framework is being set up is, in my mind, for what I'm reading in between the lines on this, and for the other things that I'm paying attention to, when these folks come back to the country, it's going to be a like, hey, you know, you got to pay taxes. And they're probably having these conversations prior now so that when they do get to come back, for those who are actually on the like, all right, I'm going to come back, they're not paying 23+% in taxes. I'll do a 5%. I'll do a 10%. But like, yo, you know how much money I made while I was outside the country? And then when I come back, y'all gonna tell me I gotta get the hell out of here. I think that's the game that's really being played in this Ukraine tax situation. But that's not, again, I'm more so reading between the lines because of the other things I'm paying attention to. What was that, last week? There was the whole Zelensky and Donald Trump and Vance, and they basically gave him a verbal lashing on camera. Like it was wild to watch that. Like, bruh, like I'm gonna ask this question. Like, would he have been wrong to just get up and be like, you know what? Got it. And just get up and be like, all right, I'm out. Would he have been wrong? Because they were literally verbally lashing him on camera, and it was being streamed across the globe. Like, that's wild to me. And then he tried to verbally, like, you know, puff his chest and fight back, but it was like, bro, what are you doing? Either get up and like walk out, or just be like, or like, yo, that's why your hair is fake. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But it was really mind-blowing to me that he sat there and took the verbal whooping of a lifetime, and they were double teaming him. And then and that's what made me, this is what brought this to my attention, because I seen a Twitter post of his, I think his assistant or his press secretary person, and she just had her heads in her hand. It was just like, I was like, yo, I need to see a whole video of this. And I went and found a video, and it was just like, oh man, you just watching your career go down in flames, in flames because of this man. Again, things I'm paying attention to is not necessarily the things other people are paying attention to, and I try to cross-reference stuff. And this article from Crypto Slate, I think, is very Western American focused, but it's not actually digging into what is going on behind the scenes. Some people are saying that the EU, France and them, is trying to like prolong the war situation. And then other folks is like, well, I don't know how they're gonna do it because their countries don't have the military might or the money to do it. So if what Trump says is true, and we just on some like, yo, we don't want this to go on. Like, it's a deal that we working to stop this now. That's the end of it. So again, this legal thing of how do we do the taxes? Like, who are you doing the taxes on that stayed locally? Like, How many people? What is the participation rate of the Ukrainian population, and how many people have even made it to, let's say, yeah, he really did. Like they double teamed him. Jesus. But like what is the Ukrainian population like crypto activity? For on face value, if this is really about the average Ukrainian and trying to figure out the tax situation, considering what's going on in this country, in that country, sorry, how many people are even participating in the crypto space? And how many people are actually like getting the bag? Like really and truly, how many people in Ukraine that are in there now are getting the bag versus how many of the people who left and ran out as soon as they saw things was about to go down heavy, or as soon as they got the word like, yo, he about to do blah blah blah. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy that most people do not in America anyhow. I don't know how the Ukrainians folks is, but the American folks do not, for certain reasons, remember, even if they were anywhere near aware of it, that Zelensky campaigned on a pro non-war ticket. Like he was anti-war during his campaign. And then as soon as your boy got in, things got crazy. And for the folks who are like, no, but Russia, blah, 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 blah. It's like, all right, don't just jump at 2022. You got to look at what happened in 2014, 2008. What is that? 2006. It's a number of incremental things that led up to 2022. And in my opinion, again, for the things I pay attention to, I think Zelensky was positioned to be the guy or the front face. But nonetheless, like to this crypto tax thing, folks got the word. They hightailed it out of the country because they didn't want to serve and they didn't want to deal with the ups and downs of the economy. And then lo and behold, now that things look like there could be some kind of peace deal on the horizon, the folks who were or had the crypto and then got out of the country, they're gonna come back and they're gonna have this money with them. Excuse me. And we need to figure out how we're gonna tax them to get things going back in the state coffers again. That's the bottom line of that. All right. I'm done on this last. Where did it go? Where did it go? No man got blue supreme. Oh man, what happened to it? Hold on. Oh, other thing. I'm gonna tap on this real quick and then I'm gonna get into this other one. But so Texas says that they're gonna do a strategic Texas Bitcoins. Sorry, how am I saying this? Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve legislation, and it is called Senate Bill 21, also known as SB 21. It's making its way through Texas right now. Other thing to note about this is it is not just yeah. It is not just Bitcoin. They're also proposing to use other like high value Bitcoin, or sorry, high value cryptos. So there's a whole thing with that. If this passes, how would I say this? I don't know which one of these things would happen first. It's either somehow Trump gets the Congress folks to agree to do a Bitcoin reserve, which then just basically like leads the way for Texas's thing to happen, And then you'll have the other states that'll look to follow. So like Arizona, Utah, Oklahoma will follow along that line, and making their own, variation of. But the other thing to note is Texas has something around precious metals that I can't remember the specifics of it, but I wonder how that would tie into this. I don't know if this will work, might not. Um, Arguably, what would happen if X number of states did it and then the federal didn't do it because like Trump didn't get enough what you call it? He didn't get enough what's the word I'm looking for? He didn't get enough backing in Congress. Like they didn't have enough votes for it, but like the states still pushed through on it. Like how would that look in this landscape for what is going on in the economics of things? Like I don't know. I think it would just add more headache. I honestly think it would just add more headache because it would be each state trying to vie for their own thing to like stabilize or insulate their economy, but not everyone's going to be using the same setup. It's going to be nuances to each state and within regions. Like what would come out of the Northeast wouldn't necessarily be the same as the Southwest. What would come out of like a Florida, Georgia wouldn't be the same as like an Idaho or like a Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? So just a thought process on that one. I guess at some point, if this, news follows up again, we'll see how that work out. But last story, and then I'm out of here. This joint had me kind of like you set yourself up. So there, Jameson Lopp. If you don't know who he is, he's like a big crypto, big Bitcoin advocate, highly security focused on stuff. As far as crypto security focus, and so he ends up posting this story about this. I'm assuming he's a millionaire, and well, he might have been a millionaire. He might not be a millionaire now. So he loads up on millions of Trump coins, right? He meets a young lady from Tanzania. If you do not know where Tanzania is Northern Africa. It is between Algeria and Libya. I want to say I'm right on that one, but it's definitely Northern Africa, right? And so he meets this young lady, you know, he meets her. He says he met her in a lounge. Okay, whatever. So he's whining and dining her, right? He got her on the yacht. He got her, out in the spot. She's driving in the fancy car with him, blah, 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 blah. And so one day he falls asleep. And when he wakes up, his phone's unlocked. And then he noted that like X amount of his crypto, his Trump coins is gone and drained. She took nearly $1 million worth of crypto from him. And through some investigation process, they track her down. But then what happens? Apparently, she's here illegally. So now ICE gets involved. And ICE is like, yo, we about to ship her ass back. And he's like, whoa, 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 hold on. She still got my Trump coins, though. I need y'all to like help me so I can get my Trump coins back and I could like, get some of the other stuff that she took back crypto wise. And ICE is just like, nah, dog, she out of here. She's gone. So again, this goes to the thing that I was talking about with economic sovereignty, right? You didn't do your due diligence about who you had around you. You didn't do your due diligence in having better security mechanisms that like, and honestly, like the way the news clipping kind of went, it made me kind of wonder, did she slip him a Mickey? Like, was she just waiting and it's like, bet? Because he's like, yeah, so like I fell asleep on my bed, and then when I woke up, she was gone. Wait, how long was y'all talking, my guy? Was this just a hot like weekend? Was this a month-long fling? Was this 3 months? Like, were you posting on social media places that you hang out and flaunting your Trump coins? I don't know, because I didn't dig that far into the story. There's another story too on how someone had a home invasion. And I said this a while ago. Like, at the end of the day, we're like the folks that are gonna get got in the crypto stuff. It's not always gonna be about the sophisticated scammer, the phishing, the spear phishing. Like, it just be the basics. Home invasion. Like, and that's what it was. It was some young lady who posted something about like how she got like a couple million or something like that in either Bitcoin or it might have been some other crypto. And lo and behold, somebody seen it and was like, bet it up. I know where that spot's at. Home invasion. And like I said, like if you was around here back in like 2014, 2015, the 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 home invasions was a thing. The I'm catching you out someplace in public because you was doing like direct Bitcoin trades. What, damn, I can't remember the site right now. But yeah, man, we getting back to that. Like, and that's crazy because wait, can somebody tell me, is Bitcoin still above 90 right now? But nonetheless, like, it was a couple hundred in 2014, 15, and now we talk about nearly 100K. Times is getting rough out there no matter where you are. You here in the States, you in Latin America, you over in Europe, you over in Africa. Like, granted, inflation might not be hitting all of these places in the same way, but it don't mean that people still not trying to find a come up. They not trying to find a lick. They're not trying to find somebody slipping. Like, that's just where we are right now, right? And again, like, when you have things going on where governments and companies and even individual personalities are working to incite people or to make them angry or to be more paranoid about stuff or to point fingers or to avoid blame and to give half truths, and you know what I'm saying, or just lie outright to people or gaslight people, like, or just distract people. I feel like, and it's not just us here in the US. Like, it's not just a us here in the US thing. But you have enough of it going on with its different nuances that are like to that region, that society, that community, that culture. And yeah, man, like, people trying to figure out how to get theirs, man. Oh wow, look at that. All right, thank you, Crypto City. I honestly didn't know that right now. Damn. Yeah. Like I said, like I don't be paying attention. I don't be paying attention. Amazingly enough, I'm still back here trying to cover some of these like crypto stories that kind of scratch my brain. Case in point with this one. Hey, what's going on, zombie? I know who that is, 3D. Um, yeah, and I'm at the end, bro. You caught me at the end. I'm about to be done. But yeah, y'all, like, be safe out there. Do y'all due diligence. That's like the one thing I'm gonna say. Like, if I'm saying to do something, it's do your due diligence and whatever it is y'all trying to figure out and how to make it through in this day to day, in this like bigger world picture, in this thing of like adulting, right? Um, I'm somewhat, somewhat back. I'm trying to get back into the swing of it more so. So yeah, the Monday mornings, I'm moving out of that and moving into the night because I'm trying to figure out how to catch more on the international side. And the reason behind that also plays into one, I was messing around with the AI stuff and it recommended it. And then two, it proved to be valid because I had a homeboy who was in Hong Kong and was like, oh yeah, like I caught your show the other day. I was like, bet it up. That's what's up. And I'm waiting for him to get back because I want to have him come on and we chop it up about the conference that he went to in Hong Kong. It was a crypto conference, and just like, how's it look on ground? For all the what we think we hear back here through CNN and NBC and mainstream, blah 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 blah. Like, nah, like let's talk to somebody who was just there. He was there for like 2 weeks or something. So I'm looking forward to that conversation. But yeah, nonetheless, I'm trying to switch it up to do this later timeline to be able to catch more of the international audience. And we'll see how that works out over the like coming weeks and months. You know, that's where it's at right now. Wait, what? They went, yeah. All right, bam. I knew she had a couple million. I just didn't know how much. I knew she had a couple million though. Oh, nice, nice. All right, bet it up. Yo, Barbados, what's y'all citizenship thing is like 250,000 or something like that, and you could do like investment by you can do citizenship by investment. I think down in Barbados, a $5 million floor price. Like America's bugging. Trump is bugging. And last rant, and then I'm out. The global standing that we had in the 90s and the 2000s is not where we are today. So trying to charge 5 million for our citizenship, if the person got 5 million to spend, do you know how many other citizenships they can get? Like, that's depending on the countries you go for. That's like damn near up to 10 other citizenships, yo. Because on average, nobody's really past 500,000 on average. And that's like some of the good countries. 150, I think, is the lowest right now. And it's probably going to go up by the time summertime comes. 150, I think, is the lowest right now. If you're doing it on some like, let me just throw the money at it and fix this problem. That's the lowest amount right now. But, you know, that's it, y'all. That's all I got for y'all. I appreciate the folks who hung around. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate the folks who tapped in. Ooh. I appreciate the folks who definitely made comments. What? I don't know what you're saying, but all right, bet. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, like I was saying, it's yeah, I'm distracting myself. I'm tired. I know it now, and I got to get up for work in the morning. Yeah. Yeah. Back to the reality. Back on the hamster wheel, right? Back on the hamster wheel. But like I was saying, be safe out there, folks. Be mindful, be aware. For the folks who are just coming into space, like, do the due diligence. Again, I'm not the biggest expert in this whole thing. I know that there are other smarter folks out there than me. What? Bruh, name me a country that charges 5 million. Like, now I'm starting to take you as trolling, bruh. Name me another country that charges 5 million. And name me a country that has seen, like, you can't say Hong Kong, you can't say Singapore, you can't say United Emirates, you can't say Vietnam, you can't say Laos, you can't say Australia, You can't say any of the Eastern European countries. So Estonia, Romania, Georgia, like what other country is charging 5 million? Like, no. Even for investment by real estate or investment by banking, you're looking at like 250, half a million. You know what? Let me stop. I'm over here getting distracted on whatever right now. Nonetheless, next show is next Monday. Unless something really catches my attention to be like, oh, let me jump in, early and start having my little ramble rant shit. That's all I got. And again, I appreciate the folks. Zinga, I appreciate you too. Okay. I say it, I be appreciating the lurkers. I appreciate the trolls. I appreciate the scammers. Like the folks running the bots on the back end. Like we see it on the back end. And 3D, thank you, bro. Appreciate you too, man. And be wary of when you look at these comments later on. Like, I'm not endorsing none of the stuff that they pump in these comments, bro. And I'm even including that on the Bitcoin side of it because I don't know what they got attached to how they pushing the Bitcoin stuff. So if anybody doing any price talk in the comments, I'm not endorsing any of it. It's not a me. All right. Do your due diligence, be aware, be safe out there. And as I be saying, like from one human to the next, the best thing I can wish for you is to be in a safe space, in a safe place, and in good company. Right. Have a productive over busy day. Hopefully that's what it was for you today. Hopefully it will be that for you tomorrow and for the rest of the week. Other than that, y'all, I'm Trek with 2Ks, and yeah, that's it. This is Trek with 2Ks here on the Gentleman of Crypto Network. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate. All right. Where are you at? Where'd you go? I'm Trek with 2Ks.